So it was quite the eventful weekend now, wasn't it? What did you guys do? I took my wife on some nice dates. We went out to dinner. We went to a local farm, which was fun. We found a store that sells merch for like lesser remembered Disney movies. So she got me a cool water bottle with a bunch of Robin Hood characters on it. That made me happy. I also had Cosmo's Pizza for the first time. And I also learned that this place classifies large as 24 inches. So now there's a gigantic empty pizza box in my garage because I'm too scared to try and get it in my house. But also, this weekend, the Activision Microsoft deal was closed. The Call of Duty agreement was made, so Call of Duty is going to keep going to PlayStation for 10 years-ish, I think is the deal. I really wasn't following that much over the weekend. I really am not on my phone or anything that much over the weekends as it is, other than like, I don't know, I'll pull out Twitter and doom scroll, or I'll scroll a little bit. Other than that, I just don't care. But I have to say, for someone who really does not spend that much time on Twitter, wow, there was a lot of nonsense on Twitter, and I was screenshotting all of it. So on this fine Monday morning, I'm just gonna sit back, read some of the dumbest things that I screenshotted over the weekend regarding the Activision Microsoft deal, and I'll just smoke this doobie, drink this coffee, and we'll see if we can make something funny out of it, and see if we can make sense out of these people on the internet, because wow, people care way too much about this thing. Best thing PlayStation can do is ban COD on PlayStation and create deals with Battlefield now that COD veterans are in charge. Microsoft and ABK will lose billions, Sony will lose too, but they will take them back from Battlefield and EAFC deals.
This doesn't make any sense!
Alright, well then, just say whatever you want.
Man, Nick, you are just so smart. What does Nick do? Oh, he's a business administration management person. That sucks for any business. So just so we're clear, the best thing that PlayStation can do, which by the way, Jim Ryan raised a gigantic stink about how they're going to lose Call of Duty and how PlayStation will burst into a gigantic fire made of flames if they don't get Call of Duty. And then Microsoft basically for the last 6 months has just been doing their best to force Call of Duty down Jim Ryan's throat, and Jim Ryan's just been like, no, I'm not eating it. But you asked for it. I'm not eating it. No, I don't want Call of Duty. You can have Call of Duty for 10 years. No, I don't want Call of Duty for 10 years. I want Call of Duty for 10 years.
Please, just tell me what you want me to do.
That is pretty much what happened here, and it's fucking embarrassing for Sony. This whole thing was so stupid. They dragged this out for so long and wasted so much taxpayer money. Also, they could agree to basically the same deal that was presented last year. Like, can you fucking stop it, Jim? Can you just go home? But according to Nick here, the best thing Sony can do is go back on the thing that made them raise the stink in the first place, which, hey, that's kind of stupid, Nick. But also, you seriously think banning Call of Duty on PlayStation is a good idea for literally anyone? You think it's a good business idea for Sony to lose that much money, because PlayStation is the biggest platform for Call of Duty by a pretty large margin. So PlayStation walking away from all that revenue, you think that's a good idea? There's a lot of people who play Call of Duty and nothing else on PlayStation, or play Call of Duty and maybe a handful of other things on PlayStation. You're basically just throwing all those people in the trash, so that's great for business. What's that you do? Business administration management? Man, it's a weird thing that I've never heard of you before. And I love how you say here, Microsoft and ABK will lose billions. Sony will lose too. It's like, oh, great, so everyone loses. Fantastic. Let's action this stupid plan of yours. Like, if your Twitter account weren't almost 10 years old, I would just think you were a psyop. I would think you were a Fed. This is the dumbest thing I've heard in a while. Idle Sloth 84 says, welcome to the home of family-friendly games. Conquer. Huh? Cheap As Gamer tweets a screenshot from an article that says Microsoft says Activision shouldn't have pulled Call of Duty from Steam, to which he quotes, translation, we need Steam, PlayStation, and Nintendo users to fund this game since Xbox players don't buy games. That has absolutely nothing to do with the screenshot at hand. Did you even read your own screenshot? Microsoft just said, I have no idea where this is from. It could be completely fake, but I mean, like, taking it face value here. Microsoft says Activision shouldn't have pulled COD from Steam. Because yeah, they shouldn't have. That was a dumb thing to do. Starting with Black Ops 4, Call of Duty was just yoinked from Steam and put on Battle.net instead. So Black Ops 4 through Vanguard were on Battle.net exclusively. They've gone back in the last like 6 months or so and started putting those games back on Steam. I don't know why they still haven't put Black Ops 4 on Steam, because that's the best of those games anyways. Fucking put it on Steam, you cowards. Let me play Black Ops 4 again, god damn it. But yeah, removing Call of Duty from Steam was a bad idea. Not only did it artificially restrict the number of people who cared about it, because a lot of people don't use Battle.net and they're not going to use Battle.net just for Call of Duty. But on top of that, Battle.net is not a very liked service, while Steam is. And Steam also has way more users than Battle.net, so there's that as well. Like, I personally would not download any Call of Duty game on Battle.net because I don't know how many people are playing it. There's just not as many features. It's just not as accessible. Whereas on Steam, you can look at Steam charts. Oh, which games are populated? Oh, this one's populated? Great, I'll download that one. Oh, this Call of Duty game's on sale, and I want to play the multiplayer, but I think the multiplayer is dead. Let me check Steam charts. Oh, it's not dead. Yeah, I'll give you some money, Activision, for this Call of Duty game that you made like 9 years ago. Yeah, I'll give you $20 for that. I'll give you $30 for that, because Steam charts tells me it's populated. That's just not a thing that you can do on Battle.net. But you know what you can do on Battle.net? Not have user reviews, which I'm pretty sure is the only reason they did this. Microsoft net income before ABK purchase, $72 billion. Activision net income, $1.8 billion. Microsoft net income after ABK purchase, $73.8 billion. Now Xbox can compete with PlayStation. Oh my god. Are you aware of how much money 1.8 billion actually is? Like, I understand the other numbers are bigger, but do you understand how much money that still is? And for a company like Microsoft, who reportedly has over $104 billion just sitting around, why wouldn't they spend some of that on an acquisition that is pretty much going to guarantee them another 1 to 2 billion every single year? Why wouldn't they do that? Especially since this is an industry that still has a lot of growing to do. So you could strengthen not only the revenue you get from Activision, but also the revenue you get from your existing gaming assets. I don't understand you bringing up Microsoft only gonna make 73.8 billion. That's so much money. Are you shitting in my fucking hands? Do you want me to hold it? That's so much money. Why wouldn't they do that? Sony is currently valued at $114 billion, and gaming represents 33% of their revenue for 2022 with 3.6 trillion yen. This means that we could value PlayStation at roughly $37.6 billion. Microsoft just paid $69 billion for Activision to try to catch up to PlayStation. Why did I say Blizzard? What the fuck? Yeah, when two companies like this are competing with each other, it's natural that they're going to start buying up other companies to compete with one another, or to hold their lead in Sony's case. I mean, Sony paid $3.6 billion for Bungie. It's just part of the industry. If you're gonna take anything away from this, you should take away the fact that Microsoft is willing to put lots of fucking money on the line to compete, and maybe it will encourage PlayStation to take more risks and stop being so risk averse and also kind of asshats. That would be amazing, thanks. The Red Dragon says Sony signs a much better deal than Phil Spencer and Xbox originally wanted. 10 years, that little screenshot, kaboom. That deal was proposed a long time ago, and it was shut down by kapow, Jim Ryan, who eventually then just signs kapow, a 10-year deal. This whole thing was so fucking stupid, but continue, I guess. Xbox wanted a 3-year deal, but was forced to give out a 10-year deal, knowing they could never recoup the cost if they're depending on Xbox fans buying games. Jim made Microsoft blow millions and sweat it out. Oh my gosh, you're such a goof. They literally proposed 10 years, like 10 years ago. Jim Ryan got fucking embarrassed in all of this. He was being the whiny little stuffed otter. Cause look, he kind of looks like a stuffed otter. But he whines for months and months and months on end that Microsoft is evil. We gotta stop them. We gotta put a stop to these meddling kids. And the biggest problem I have with all of it is Call of Duty. And this whole time, Microsoft's been like, dude, you can literally have it. We don't want to keep it to ourselves. Take it, please. Please, don't make us bear this fucking load alone, because Call of Duty sucks ass and we just want the money from it, is basically what they said, I hope. But this whole time, Microsoft has been proposing pretty much the same thing that was eventually signed and that we wasted all of this time over. But at the end of the day, Jim Ryan just ended up going with the thing that he said was so evil and terrible in the first place. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to. He threatened to withhold PS6 dev kits from Activision over this. He threatened to make the game go away for PlayStation players. And then eventually he just goes back and signs the original deal that he caused this whole stink over. He threw you guys under the bus so goddamn hard. He does not give a fuck about PlayStation players. He doesn't give a fuck at all. He is absolutely willing to walk away from you guys the second it benefits him. And now you're here trying to pull off the most ridiculous gold medal gymnastics moves of all time to try and turn him getting embarrassed and humiliated for months? You're trying to twist that into a W? Are you George W. kidding me right now? That's not funny. Oh my God, why did I say that? I'm sure we're going to continue to get a bunch of terrible, terrible takes from this, and I'm excited. My screenshot button is ready, and I have lots of coffee. But until then, let me leave you with some words of wisdom from a man I respect. Ron Swanson once said, no. Okay, toodles.